He wasn't just any old rich American. He was well connected to top players all over the world, from Israel to Saudi Arabia. And it wasn't a secret. Primetime wants to get to the bottom of the Epstein saga more than anybody. We've been covering the story for years. But the story isn't about Trump. It's about foreign intelligence, blackmail, and cover-ups.
Today, we're breaking down a clip where Jesse Walters, John, Jen, and Cenk dive into one of the most explosive political stories out there, the Epstein saga. And trust me, this thing shits directly on the GOP in ways Fox News did not expect. This script is packed with foreign intelligence, massive hypocrisy, right-wing panic, and a Trump meltdown that makes absolutely zero sense unless something huge is being hidden. So let's get into it. No filter, no sugarcoating. This is a raw, unapologetic breakdown of what they're really saying.
That is a dramatic opener, and I'm glad to see it from Jesse Waters. After all, he has been fighting for transparency on Epstein harder than anyone else in the media, obviously. We all know that. But that right there, that was pretty bold, pretty big, because it wasn't just about like Epstein and Trump or Epstein and Bill Clinton or whatever. That was his international connections, which I know, Cenk, is something that you've been very focused on. What are your 2 cents?
Yeah, so first off, it's hilarious that he's like, we're gonna get to the bottom of this, but not Trump. Definitely not Trump. If he's at the bottom, we're not getting to the bottom, okay?
The clip starts with Jesse acting like he's about to drop the truth bomb of the century. He goes all dramatic, talking about how Epstein wasn't just some creepy billionaire. He was tied to Israel, Saudi Arabia, global intelligence networks, blackmail, cover-up, the whole thing. For like 10 seconds, it sounds like Jesse's ready to spit it out and be bold. Finally, ready to tell the truth. And then he instantly destroys his entire setup with one line. But the story isn't about Trump. And there it is. The whole Fox News strategy exposed in real time. You can claim you want the full truth while carving Trump out like he's some protected sacred cow. Jen catches this immediately and she calls out the hypocrisy because it's impossible not to see.
But overall, though, I agree with John. It's an interesting development that they're now talking about intelligence agencies on Fox News, right? So as you're going to see in this story, there's a lot of drama of different players within the right wing now beginning to question orthodoxy and go, wait, what's actually happening with the Epstein story?
Yeah.
And so we've got a lot. I got a lot of opinions on that, but I want to show you the Civil War first.
Yeah, we need to talk about some of the reporting being done by Drop Site News. And it's a fascinating intersection of a couple of different areas where MAGA is starting to question things that just happen to all line up on this story. So they revealed in their recent reporting that has been discussed on the show previously that Epstein, who had been in close contact with the former Israeli Prime Minister Barak, helped arrange a security agreement between Israel and Mongolia, which is that's a big position for this guy who just managed money for rich people to all of a sudden be in. Helped arrange a meeting with Barak and Vladimir Putin in an attempt to topple Bashar al-Assad of Syria. Helped Barak sell the country of the Ivory Coast on a mass surveillance program, and hosted a senior Israeli intelligence officer at his apartment on multiple occasions. He was a very busy boy, I guess.
Then they run through what Drop Site News uncovered, and this is where the whole Epstein was just a rich guy narrative collapses. They reveal Epstein helped arrange a security agreement between Israel and Mongolia. He set up a meeting with Putin. He helped plan strategy to remove Assad in Syria. He sold a massive surveillance program to the Ivory Coast. He hosted Israel intelligence at his home multiple times. This isn't a billionaire with connections. This is a man operating at a level of a state-backed intelligence asset. And the fact that this used to be dismissed as conspiracy theory is completely insane.
But for the most part, the national conversation that has been developing, especially again this week around the Epstein files, has focused on Donald Trump and whether he's in it, whether he's not. Whereas now we're getting some revelations about broader international concerns. And here is more from that reporting from Jesse Waters.
The Jeffrey Epstein emails. Congress is dumping thousands of documents, and Democrats are using them to frame Trump. But we've been combing through them and can't find anything nailing Trump. Even Axios says the emails contained no real smoking gun. But when it comes to Trump, Jeffrey had TDS. I have met some very bad people, none as bad as Trump. Not one decent cell in his body. Trump should wear that like a badge of honor. The slimiest guy in the world hating you is a good thing. Epstein even admitted Trump, quote, never got a massage. The same author Epstein colluded with even said this.
Epstein believed that it was Trump who first informed the police about what was going on at Epstein's house.
Ghislaine Maxwell said Trump did nothing wrong. So have Epstein's victims and Epstein's lawyer. And none of these emails implicate Trump. So we're back to square one.
I mean, I think he is back to square one of wanting to talk about the story in a way that maybe hurts the Democrats, but definitely doesn't hurt Donald Trump. After all, nothing in the emails looks bad for Trump.
Then Jesse pivots into full defense attorney mode for Donald Trump. He says they can't find anything in the Epstein emails implicating Trump, except the clip itself immediately admits Trump spent hours with Virginia Gurf at Epstein's house. Trump refuses to talk about it. Victims won't confirm or deny the encounters. And Trump is losing his mind trying to bury the documents. Jesse even cites Axios, a mainstream outlet he never praised unless it benefits Trump. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. John nails this perfectly. If Trump was innocent, he wouldn't be acting like a man trying to sprint away from a ticking bomb. His behavior is the biggest red flag in this entire story.
Except for the stuff that really does. Like him spending hours with one of the victims at Epstein's home. Trump refuses to talk about that. Jesse Waters, you want to know how bad that is for Trump? Trump won't address it, actually. You don't think that's interesting? And when Carolyn Leavitt was asked about that, she didn't confirm or deny it. But nothing is bad for, I mean, even Axios. What, is that supposed to be like a commie rag or something? He thinks Axios, oh my God, they got Axios. Like, yeah, no, I don't think there's anything in these emails that is wildly more damaging to Trump than many of the other things we've already seen. But it's not that those things were damaging, it's just that Jesse Waters didn't care about those either, because fundamentally he doesn't care what Donald Trump did or didn't do. He's just not interested. If he had a tape of Donald Trump with multiple underage women, he would set it on fire to protect his dear leader. That is who he is, and that's the movement that he is a part of. But anyway, I guess it's good that he feels freed up to talk about Epstein in other areas at the very least.
Yeah. So I think the most important part is the first video we showed you, but let me take it one by one. On Trump, are there things that incriminate Trump in the emails? He says there are none. No, that's not true at all. So there's an email where he says, yeah, he spent hours with Virginia Giuffre in my house in 2011. And the theoretical cover story was that Trump got rid of Epstein back in like 2003. So 8 years later, spending hours at Epstein's house with one of the victims. So it's not like there's anything incriminating, there is. But is there a smoking gun where it says, there's an email that goes, now remember when Donald Trump had sex with the 13 or 15, 17-year-old? No, there is not that, but then there isn't that about anyone, right?
Yeah.
So it's not as exculpatory as they're painting it out to be. Now that being said, fair show in America, I don't know that, I've never really thought that Trump was likely to do it. Like if you showed me evidence saying, no, in fact, he did do it. And when he was at Epstein's house, he did X, Y, and Z. Would I believe it? Of course I'd believe it. It's not like I mean, Trump keeps saying about how much he likes young girls at different times. It's like and he knew about Epstein and he knew that he was one of the young girls and he didn't mind, etc. So I would certainly believe it. But part of the reason why I've always been a little bit skeptical is because Trump grew up under the tutelage of Roy Cohn. And Roy Cohn used to tape everyone, and Trump knew that Roy Cohn taped everyone. So he had his radar up for being taped. So it's kind of like the Steele dossier, where they're like, oh, he had women urinating on a bed. I'm like, Trump's a germaphobe. That doesn't sound right, right? So that's why, yeah, I get it. You could focus on Bill Clinton. You could focus on Donald Trump. You could focus on anyone you like, right? But to me, the much larger issue is, who was Jeffrey Epstein working for? Because yeah, he got a bunch of rich, powerful people, presumably on tape, had some sort of hold over them, right? Was he just doing it for himself, or was he doing it, as Waters suggested there in his opening, for an intelligence agency? Now a lot of people think, yeah, of course it was for an intelligence agency. And look at the drop site news bombshells that all of mainstream media is ignoring. So wait a minute, Epstein was so powerful, put aside the agencies for a second, he was so powerful that he could arrange a meeting for the former prime minister of Israel with Putin, that the former prime minister of Israel, the most powerful country on earth, couldn't do on his own.
Yeah.
So Epstein was more powerful than the leaders of Israel? That is unbelievable. So if this was not a rando like, oh yeah, hey, I'm a pervert and I did this and it was just me. If it was just Epstein, how is he arranging meetings with the Mongolians, with Putin, and affecting world politics in a significant way? Now, of course he's connected, of course. Like, you'd have to be a maniacal clown not to see that he's connected.
Yeah.
And then what was his agenda for which country? In all the emails, does he like, oh, well, we got to get this for America and make sure you're looking out for American interests? No, in all the emails, looking out for Israel's interests. It's in the emails, it's super clear, right? And he says, okay, now he is conspiring with Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel, and he's like, okay, we got to get America to bomb Syria. You got to get America to bomb Syria for Israel, and you're doing that with the Israeli prime minister. Gee, I wonder who he's working with. That's so complicated. In other emails, from Ehud Barak's emails, he's talking about, oh yeah, we also got to get America to attack Iran and bomb Iran. Is this complicated? It's not. It's actually crystal clear.
Then Cenk steps in and drops the part nobody on the left or right wants to say out loud. The real question isn't who Epstein slept with. The real question is, who was he working for? And the emails paint a clear picture. Every move he made benefited Israel. His political operations served Israel intelligent goals. His contacts were top-level Israeli officials, including Barak. Nothing in the emails indicated he was working in America's interests. This is why the media won't touch it. Criticizing Israeli intelligence is taboo. American media treat Israel like a protected identity. Politicians from both parties would rather bury the story than face it. That's why the Epstein story isn't a bipartisan scandal. It's a bipartisan national security scandal nobody wants to expose.
The only reason why we aren't all having a giant national conversation about how Epstein clearly worked for Israel is because the national media is disgustingly biased, and they will not criticize Israel under penalty of law. I mean, they're not just avoiding the major topic here, they're hiding the news.
Yeah.
These are verifiable emails drop site news got. It is not arguable. Epstein is all over the Barak emails saying, literally conspiring to help to manipulate America on behalf of Israel. Where's the complicated part?
Yeah. Well, and if you need a connection to Donald Trump, I mean, in his first term, massively accelerated the bombing in Syria, and as soon as he came into his second term, launched a war against Iran.
Yeah. And so,
which, by the way, like you said that you don't believe that Donald Trump, I guess, did anything untoward, illegally, sexually with Epstein.
I'd be surprised, but I definitely am not.
I'd be less surprised, but I also don't think it's the only potential explanation for the single biggest smoking gun. I mean, it's a smoking gun in that you can see the smoke. We don't have the proof, but Jesse Waters, like all of them, wants to ignore the single most damaging thing about all this. If Donald Trump did nothing, his entire last 6 month strategy around this story makes no sense whatsoever.
Yes.
We've never had a politician that has fought harder to hide something, and ineptly, as Donald Trump is, in damaging himself in a self-sabotaging way, Donald Trump would rather anything happen than this information come out. And maybe it's sexual, maybe it's not. Maybe it has to do with the stuff that we're talking about right now.
Yeah, so John, that's a terrific point. And so Trump is definitely hiding something. Then the question is, what is he hiding? Because 83% of Republican voters want the Epstein files released. That's a CBS News poll that just came out. And Trump said any Republican who wants it released is falling for the Epstein hoax, is weak and stupid and a fool. That's him saying 8 out of 10 Republican voters are idiots and I hate them, right? That is a hell of a thing to say about your own voters.
Yeah.
So you only say that and you go through these desperate efforts. You drag Lauren Boebert into the Situation Room with the FBI director, Attorney General. You go through Mike Johnson. Hey, all of you Republicans in Congress, burn your careers. Look like you're pro-Epstein if you're hiding something. But John, Biden hid it. All the Democrats hid it. All the Republicans hid it. If it was just Trump, there's no way in the world the Democrats would have hid it. No way. They would have said it first and foremost and 1,000 times.
If it was just sexual, there'd be less reason to hide it then.
Yes, yes. And even if it was Democrats that were involved, Democrats throw other Democrats legally under the bus all the time. Menendez isn't going to jail, and you've got investigations of Democratic senators, congressmen, et cetera. Maybe because like some of the names are so large, et cetera. But overall, no. The overwhelming mountain of evidence is the entire United States government is covering it up because it involves an intelligence agency, and it very, 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 very likely our so-called special ally, Israel. And if people found out that Israel had an asset, sleep, molest, rape young American girls to get compromising information on powerful and rich Americans, I think people would be furious. And that is why the media is like, no. Everybody hide the truth, don't talk about it. So now when it comes back to Trump, he's at -39 on this issue. I've never seen something like that because he's lost his entire base, let alone Democrats, let alone independents. So yes, Trump is definitively hiding something.
Yeah.
But is it something that Israel has on him not related to this? Is it related to this? Is it something as ridiculous as they have him on tape being naked and he's so ego-driven that he's like, no, I'll do anything. I don't know. But come on, guys, look, at this point, I don't even have to say even if you're MAGA. MAGA's even more upset in a lot of ways. Obviously, Trump's hiding something.
Yeah.
The question is what?
So that's the full breakdown. Epstein's global ties expose a level of corruption that the GOP absolutely cannot afford to acknowledge. And Trump's meltdown is the clearest sign yet that there is something in those files he's terrified of. Trump is doing everything he can to stop those documents from being released, calling Republicans idiots, bullying Congress to bury the files, dragging all the classified meetings into the biggest craziness, pressuring Mike Johnson, treating this story like it's life or death. It's not what an innocent man does. And this puts the GOP in an impossible position. Protect Trump or release the Epstein files. You can't do both. This is why Epstein's shits on the GOP, because they can't escape him without hurting Trump. And they can't defend Trump without looking complicit. Thank you for watching and listening to our video. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We'll talk to you on the next video.